Welcome back to Creating Cooperative Kids. I'm your host, Bill Corbett. They're commonly called terrible twos, but I like to refer to them as terrific twos. They are the little people in families and preschools or daycare classrooms who get easily frustrated when things don't go their way, or when the adults change something on them unexpectedly. Toddlers and preschoolers live only in the moment. That means their entire universe consists of only what's going on at the moment. If only we could live that way, huh? They can't see beyond now, and they don't like it when a toy is taken away from them, or the video is shut off, or they have to put their shoes on. It is our job as their caregiver to provide them with clear advanced warning that a change is going to occur. When we don't, a meltdown is triggered and their cooperation with us has ended. Here are 9 ways of stopping or avoiding a tantrum. Tantrums are incredibly frustrating, not only for us, but the child in question. So I'm going to give you these quick things, and the first one is to ease their frustration. Try to see the world through their eyes. It's not easy. And I encourage you to understand a tantrum as frustration. So the best thing you can do as a loved one, as a caregiver, ease their frustration. Don't talk to them, hold them, rock them, caress them. Try to talk as little as possible because they can't hear you in that moment anyway, and help them with their frustration. If they're really little and they're just trying to get a square peg in a round hole, help them do it. Try not to stand upright as the giant and demand that they do all these things. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 is don't react. Because if they throw a fit and you react, you've taught them to do it again. And so little children, they learn through trial and error, testing stuff. So if they throw a fit and the adults around them react, after the storm is past, what remains in their subconscious is, oh, that's what I should do. If I throw a fit, then I can get my way. So the best thing, parents and teachers and caregivers of any sort, don't react. Just act like it doesn't affect you, because the sooner you do, the more you do, the less likely tantrums will occur. Number 3, don't give in. That means if she's screaming for a cookie, don't give her the cookie if you don't want her to have the cookie. Now, some parents will say, well, can I offer her a carrot? If you think a preschooler is going to take a carrot over a cookie, fine. I don't see any problem with that. But keep in mind that they want something in the moment, and when you give it to them, again, it teaches motivation in a different way. Let's look at number 4. Plan ahead for hot situations. Okay, you know what that means? That means you are, as the primary caregiver, whether you're a parent, a grandparent, a step-parent, an adoptive parent, whatever you are, teacher, if you pay close attention, you'll begin to see patterns. And then you will begin to learn that when this situation occurs, he usually has a meltdown. So we have to learn through those experiences. So begin to plan ahead for these hot situations. Once you begin to learn and you know that something is likely to happen, you want to plan ahead, making sure that he has snacks or has blankie, or you've taken into consideration whatever you can do ahead of time. Let's look at number 5. Know your child. See, there's certain things that act as triggers. It's similar to paying attention to hot situations, but what I'm asking you to do is really know your child. Each child has certain triggers, and every child is completely different. So one trigger for one child may not be the same for another. So do whatever you can to really get invested in your child, to know what are the things that set them off. Number 6, I encourage you to use a visual timer. So visual timers are mechanisms that are relatively new on the market, and I love them. They're terrific. The way a visual timer works is you set the dial as to how much red time a child has for an activity. This is ideal for, let's say you have a picky eater and it takes her 2 hours to eat her lunch or dinner, or you want to limit the amount of Webkinz time or a video. You set the red dial, and what happens is inside the mechanism is built to slowly pull the red dial on its own until it disappears. So now you're no longer the controller of time. You can now blame it on the device and say, oh, honey, look how much red time is left, or you're out of red time. Because when you remove you as the controlling person in their time, it really minimizes the amount of conflicts. And actually, you'll begin to find that children love these things. Now, of course, in the beginning, you want to keep them up out of their reach. A lot of them come with little holes to put on the wall because they'll soon figure out how to move the dial and give themselves extra time. So once they get over that phase, I've actually heard children say, Mommy, I need the timer. I want to watch a video, or something like that. It teaches them that all good things in moderation. Many things in life have a beginning and an end, because you have to understand, as a young child, they think that the entire universe is just what they're doing in that moment, and it's going to be like that forever. Let's look at number 7. Number 7 is a similar device, and it's called a visual schedule. Visual schedules are cool because children, remember, I told you, whatever they're doing, they think they're going to be doing for the next 22 years. They don't get it that things end and they have other things to do. So using a visual schedule, like this one here from Schedules, every activity is represented by a little magnet block. And you can tell them the order, the sequence of events. You know, teeth brushing and getting dressed and combing your hair, and they see all these things visually. You can set it up in so many different ways. It's very easy to move things around, and because once they visually begin to see that, oh, all these things I have to do, now I understand, because they don't see the world from our perspective. I've got 2 more to give you, and the first one is to get them excited, or we sometimes call it redirection. That means if the child is intent on touching the stove knob, I vote no against slapping their hand or yelling at them. Instead, say something like, oh, look at the birdie outside the window. I raised 3 kids. It works with little children. In that moment, they may go, where? And off they go to something else. And while they're gone, you have the opportunity to pull the stove knob off or tape it up, whatever. But you get them involved in something else. Finally, the last one is called Wait It Out and Move Forward. Why? This is the one that you might have to use if nothing else works. Now, all of these are not going to work in every situation, so you got to be ready. This final one, Wait It Out and Move Forward, is like she's throwing a fit in the grocery store and you have a meeting in 30 minutes. You know what? There's no magic pill for this one. What do? You can try to wait it out if you can. And if you can't, then just pick her up and lovingly leave the store and don't talk, because she can't hear you anyway. Sometimes there's an opportunity for us to just move forward without words and get to where we need to go. I hope you've picked up a couple of things here that you can use with your child. And if you have any questions, there's more on my site. So if you like more information on any of the 9 ways of handling a tantrum that I outlined in this segment, log on to www.stopthetantrums.com for more information on implementing them. When the tantrums have subsided, your child is a bit older, and you're now teaching him social skills, wouldn't it be great if he was eager to learn some manners? In my next segment, I'll be interviewing an etiquette expert who will provide us with some guidance on when to start teaching manners and how do they differ from etiquette. Don't go away. I'll be right back after this short break.